Coming up next is Brawling News number 135. It's going to be an all wrestling edition of Brawling News. And we're going to start off with, the Olympics have dropped wrestling. And we're going to talk a whole bunch about that and what they could be replacing it with. Vince, you're not going to be happy. Also, we're going to talk about, Tammy Sitch and the problems that she's having. Jack Swagger and the problems that he's having. And Jerry Lawler about the problems that he wants to give himself. All that and more coming right up.
What about Bo's problems?
Help us here at Alternate Reality to improve your kids' grades. Now, we know that good grades deserve a reward, and that's why we have the Alternate Reality Good Grades Club here at the store. If you have a grade schooler in the Chicagoland area, either city or suburbs, bring in their report card and we'll issue you one of these. Alternate Reality Good Grades Club card. Now, for each A, your grade schooler will receive a 2% discount, and for each B, a 1% discount. Now, based on this report card, this grade schooler is going to get an 11% discount here at the store for everything, all the time, all year long. So come on down to Alternate Reality because good grades deserve a reward.
And now, two guys who can brawl their way out of cotton candy. Comic Book Man and Bo with Brawling News.
Never trust news imparted by pretty faces. That's how you know you can trust us. Brawling News, episode 135. Dumb Drum Gum.
Tape! We're running?
We are.
Fucking smile, will you?
What? Fucking smile.
What? Like that.
You should trim your beard like he does, too.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for
Brawling News, kids!
Brawling News Kids, coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality. Look at the intersection toy boat of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all my new comic stories, 15% off every day for everyone. This is an all wrestling edition of Brawling News, and we're going to start off with the International Olympic Committee, as you probably have heard by this point, has dropped wrestling from the Summer Olympics. Summer Olympics. What's up with that? Why did they drop wrestling?
Well, this is going to start in 2020.
Wrestling or wrestling?
Here's the deal. Okay, most of the people who are on the voting committee for the International Olympic Committee,
yes,
they're from countries who usually get their asses kicked whenever there's wrestling involved. And so their attitude is, well, since we're getting our asses kicked and we don't have a chance of winning a medal, we'll just eliminate it as a sport. Now, the fact that the Olympics began with wrestling, the Olympics,
yes,
Greek wrestling, it makes no sense. Greco-Roman wrestling. Yeah. And the people who complain the most about this are Kurt Angle from TNA, and also TNA President Dixie Carter.
Which is the reason why we're talking about it here.
Who on their website say that, the WWE and everyone else should get involved in all this and basically make them change their mind. Yeah. Because they can change their mind, and the amount of upcry and announcing and bitching about this.
Here's the problem with that. Dixie Carter and the WWE do not do wrestling. They do sports entertainment. They do not do wrestling. But they divorced themselves from that, especially Vince, years ago because of medical overhead.
Well, yeah,
to save money.
But the thing about that is, in the developmental territories of the WWE, most of those wrestlers come from college wrestling programs.
Yes.
If you cannot win an Olympic medal anymore, a lot of these colleges will simply drop wrestling altogether. Because what's the point?
How about all those kids in college now wrestling?
And all those kids, well, they've got
How happy you think
they've got till 2020. If you're not up there by 2020 and this goes through, well, whatever you're doing, it doesn't mean anything.
It's not like wrestling's tennis. Oh, gee, I've been working really hard playing tennis.
But meanwhile, badminton is still an Olympic sport.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
How about for the Russians, we'll do vodka drinking.
Curling is still an Olympic sport.
Vodka shots for
vodka shots. Olympic sport.
People do this get.
Actually, they talked to UFC President Dana White about this. And he said, I can't be the guy who simply say they should drop wrestling, but he does believe that at some point mixed martial arts will become an Olympic sport, so they might end up replacing it.
I was wondering if
twist the knife.
Well, you're already doing judo, and so it could end up taking.
Oh, Vince, twist the knife.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man, wrestling's out, but MMA could be in. Oh man. Okay, moving on. Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger was arrested on February the 19th in Mississippi after a SmackDown taping because of what?
He was going
you can't guess.
He was going about 10 miles over the speed limit.
Yes.
The cops stopped him. They charged him with a DUI. He had a small amount of marijuana on him, a small amount, which basically means probably a one joint. And it's because he was speeding. Now, they basically took him to jail. They took his car from him. A friend of him got him out of jail. And now, this is, I think, if everything's all said and done, he would probably end up paying about $3 or $4 grand worth of fines.
Right.
But here's the problem.
Yes.
Swagger is going to be wrestling at Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania. If Swagger gets suspended between now and then, he can't wrestle, which means this $5,000 or $6,000 fine could end up costing him over $250 grand.
Uh-oh.
And the bigger part about this is Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter, those characters, conservative websites are going nuts about it because they go, you're making fun of the Tea Party, which they really are. But
Why are they making fun of the Tea Party?
Because Jack Swagger and his manager Zeb Coulter are saying they want to take America back, and they got a sign behind them that says "Don't tread on me." You know, this blah blah blah.
So they're being Tea Party guys.
So they're being Tea Party guys. The fact they even asked Glenn Beck to
their characters are being Tea Party guys.
Yes.
They're characters.
Because former TV personality Glenn Beck complained about this. And if you go on YouTube and you pull up Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger, they did a video response in which they basically said, Mr. Beck, you're calling wrestling fans stupid. Don't you think you're stupid too? Why don't you come to our show and talk about it?
Yeah, you know, Beck might want to consider that because, you know, you get him back on TV if he showed up.
There
you go. Glenn Beck, WrestleMania. Well, you know, they had what's-his-face on back in the 80s. The mouth. What's his name? Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr. Glenn Beck. Here you go, Glenn. Here's your big chance. Get back on TV.
Didn't Geraldo get his ass beat too?
Geraldo was on. I think Geraldo was on there as well at some point. He made some.
I think Geraldo was on a WrestleMania. I
He
can't
did
tell you which
WrestleMania
one, but I
once.
think he did one once.
Well, they were in New York City. He was, and then they had the bit where he was looking for the Undertaker. So I think that was the year.
Okay, someone else who is a former wrestler, diva, who's also a train wreck, is Tammy Sitch.
She's still not quite on the tracks.
And the WWE has decided that as far as they're concerned, helping Tammy out in the future is going to be
It's a no-win.
It's on her own.
On her own.
Not happening. The first person to ever be dropped from any possibility of ever being going to WWE-sponsored rehab is Tammy Sitch.
Jeez, Razor Ramon wasn't even dropped, for God's sake.
She did a video interview. She did a shoot interview for, I think, kayfabe commentaries.com.
Yeah.
She complained about the fact that the facility she went to was supposed to have been an expensive one, but then they sent her to a cheaper one that she didn't like.
Oh, God.
And when she called the WWE and complained about it, and she says, well, you know, you spent this much money on Scott Hall. Apparently the WWE told them, well, guess what, Tammy? You're not Scott Hall.
No.
It's rehab, not a resort.
It's not a resort. The fact that they sent her to rehab, then about 3 weeks later, she went back to rehab. Even Scott had the common courtesy to spend a little time out of rehab before going back to rehab.
No, she's not Scott Hall, but she is one of the biggest divas the WWE ever had. Sunny was huge back in the early 90s. Sunny was absolutely huge. Sunny and Chris Cardito?
Chris Candido.
Chris Candido.
The late Chris Candido.
Yeah, the late Chris Candido. They were huge. What was the name of that? It was two brothers.
The Body Donnas.
Body Donnas. Yeah. Sunny and the Body Donnas. It was huge, especially the Sunny part back in the early 90s. Oh, well. Sorry to hear that. Tammy, you might want to get your act together.
She said she's sorry. And she didn't mean it.
Go to church.
They're not going to change their mind, but she said she's sorry.
You want forgiveness? Go to church.
Yeah, go to church.
Talk to the Lord!
Our last story involves Jerry the King Lawler, who, after a heart attack, can't wait to get back in the ring.
Well, he wants to wrestle again, but the WWE doctors will not let him do it because he's taking blood thinners.
You had a heart attack.
And, you know, by taking blood thinners, if he accidentally gets cut in a wrestling match, he'd bleed out.
Bleed out. There you go.
Therefore, they're like, no. But, you know, he's like, look. This is what I do. Now, he has said he's completely changed his diet. He said he used to eat fried chicken every day and a whole bunch of donuts. He's riding the bike.
What's for breakfast? Dozen donuts and a box of fried chicken.
Box of fried chicken. You know,
wash it down with a beer.
He basically was living on the fact that he had really good genetics because you can't eat fried chicken every day and donuts and actually be healthy. It's not be healthy. Dead. You will drop dead. You'll have a heart attack. And so, but he wants to wrestle.
And he did.
And he did. Because this is what he wants to do.
This is what he wants to do. Well,
although I'll be willing to bet it's not going to happen.
Well, you know, once you get past a certain age, what you want to do and what you're capable of doing are two completely different things.
Yeah, I mean, in a related story, Ric Flair was supposed to wrestle for All Japan. He got on the plane ride. He went to Japan. He couldn't wrestle because he got a blood clot in his legs because he was old and his blood pooled up in his legs. Jerry's not a young man anymore.
Happens. It happens. None of us are 30 anymore.
I am.
Take a look at Marvel News like 25.
You're full of crap.
Just go back and look at
I'm as young as I feel.
And that's it. We're done. We're finished right here. Got no more wrestling news. Go to the store's website. Check out all this man's news about wrestling.
Yeah.
And where's the store's website at?
Sarah, tell them all. Tell them.
The sound of your voice makes you want to eat electricity. www.myalternatereality.com.
So, stop off the store's website. Check out all his news. Until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
And this is Bo saying, go, Jack Swagger, go.
Bye.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.